I want to bring in Jack Keane now, retired four-star general, Fox News senior strategic analyst, chairman for the Institute to Study War. And General, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill.
I think the question I heard the most over the last 3 days is what happens next. Let's break that down, General. From Iran's perspective, what would you expect to happen next?
Well, I think you can see what's unfolding here. Politically, they're trying to take advantage of Soleimani's death with the population itself. Just a few weeks ago, there was widespread demonstrations against the regime, against their foreign policy, their foreign wars, and also against the regime because of the economic deprivation that the population is suffering. So they're using Soleimani's death to shore up that population as much as they can politically. That will be short-lived because the economic and civil unrest is there, and it'll be back in days after Soleimani is finally buried. I think politically you see them in Iraq with intimidation and coercion on the Council of Representatives passing a resolution that's non-binding, by the way, to expel the United States troops from Iraq. And also another political move is they've pulled out of the nuclear deal, quote, officially, but what that actually means, if they get economic assistance from the Europeans who are still in the deal, then they'll go back and put the deal back together again. So those are their political moves. The military ones, clearly, they have a full range of options because they have a worldwide terrorist network, Bill. They can go to soft targets in Europe if they want, Latin and South America. Certainly the most obvious is Iraq, the region, huge American presence in the region. All of that is there. But here's something I think we've got to think about. Everybody is thinking massive military operation against the United States. This death of Soleimani has shook this regime in a way that nothing has in 41 years. Khomeini himself, I believe, is personally shook by it, stunned and surprised that it actually happened, and he's got the loss of his #1 executor of foreign policy and successful foreign policy at that. And I believe it's going to have some impact on their decision-making in terms of what are they going to do. They did not expect the President of the United States to take this action, and he's promising them more if they take more action against American troops in the region or American diplomats. I think that gives them a pause in terms of what are they going to do. And they may not do something as bold as people are predicting them to do, because now this president has drawn a line that was never there before.
If you're right, you're suggesting that things could go quiet for a period of time. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I think they're going to continue to do things politically for sure. It's easy to start throwing rockets at the embassy in Baghdad. I mean, they've already thrown a couple of rockets at Balad Air Base in the last couple of days. But in terms of a major military operation that clearly would get our attention, that would take planning, preparation, and number two, I'm not certain they actually want to go down that path.
Okay, let me flip it around for the Trump administration. The critics have said you can't make a move like this unless you've got a plan for what is next. What do you believe the administration has in terms of what is next in terms of our response, General?
Well, so what they're doing militarily is to shore things up. I mean, they've got a brigade from the 82nd in Kuwait. In the event we have to do an emergency evacuation of our embassy in Baghdad. They have another brigade on alert in Italy in the event we have emergency evacuation of our embassy in Lebanon. And both of those certainly are high on anybody's target list. But politically, I think there is an opportunity here. I mean, I'm absolutely convinced the Iranians are back on their heels. Their people put them back on their heels in November, and now President Trump has further done that. So the pressure on this, on the leadership in Iran, I believe, is working. So let's take advantage of that. Yeah. Let's go to them through the Swiss and put, let me finish. Yes. Let's go to them and put a deal back on the table with them and reaffirm to them, hey, listen, this is what negotiations would look like. Let's talk to them, not publicly about it, through the Swiss, as we've been doing. We've already told them, one, after we took Soleimani down, we told them through our intermediaries, we don't intend to go to war with you. And number two, we don't intend to do regime change. We feel totally justified in killing Soleimani. Let's do another thing. Let's put a deal, some kind of deal on the table in general terms, in terms of what we're looking at, and see if there's a political appetite there in the leadership of Iran willing to come back to the negotiating table.
That is really smart strategies. One last moment here. Soleimani was traveling for 20 years, correct? Unimpeded.
Right.
Between Tehran and Baghdad, Damascus and Beirut, Sana'a and Yemen, even Moscow and Russia. And this went on for 20 years, and everybody knew it. Sir, do you think this is the right move now to take him out?
Yeah, I think we should have done it a long time ago. Bush declared him a global terrorist in 2007. The UN sanctioned his travel shortly after that. Even the European Union sanctioned. I argued in congressional testimony in 2011 that we should target him like we're targeting Osama bin Laden, who was still alive. This guy has got so much blood on his hands. I mean, it's staggering. And I'm absolutely appalled that people think there's something wrong with taking this guy down, given what he's done. Genocide in Syria, started a civil war in Yemen, hundreds of thousands of rockets in Lebanon and Gaza, encroaching on Israel's sovereignty and stability and security, and then, of course, the killing of our own soldiers in Iraq.
Yeah.
This is as justified as anything could possibly be. It does have implications. It does have strategic implications, to be sure. Nothing that we could not handle, though.
Thank you, General. Jack Keane, we'll talk a bit later today, okay? And throughout the week. Terrific analysis there. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Good talking to you, Bill.
You bet.